Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great day today. So, today I've got a pretty interesting topic for you. So, welcome. Before we begin, I would just like to give you an insight about what exactly we are doing today. So, this lesson is not a part of our grammar series that pretty much is running free on YouTube, and it is also not a part of our spoken English. All right. This is completely a new segment for you today, as you can see on the screen. Let me just take my tool real quick. Yes, so this is in reference with your fluency development tips, guys. So we are also looking at giving you certain tips and tricks wherein you can, you know, improve or enhance the way you speak in English. So in this series, we are not going to focus on, rules or textbook methods. Instead, we will focus on practical habits. How's that? So, practical habits in the sense your mindset, training, and your daily speaking drills. We are going to kind of touch that topic in depth. So, if your goal is to move from understanding English to kind of actually speaking it out smoothly without hesitation, then this series is just for you. So, now let's quickly begin. All right. So, you don't need 2 hours or 3 hours for you to improve your spoken English, guys. You just need not get complicated that way. You what you need pretty much is a certain sense of strategies or methodologies for you to follow. So that is why we are here, and we curate certain strategies at GK Pro Academy for your benefit so that you can get a better understanding of the whole concept. So what you need is the right daily habits. Okay, so in the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you 5 simple practical techniques which pretty much talk about improving the way you speak with other people. All right, so let's quickly get started for in reference with our beautiful beautiful topic today, that is fluency development tips. Okay, so as I pretty much told you, the first topic that we are pretty much going to talk about is the mirror practice. Okay, this is also known as structured self speaking. Why? Why? Because it involves only you and you being the person that you're going to be talking to. All right. So stand in front of the mirror. As you can see, the definition itself speaks out. That seems, it says that mirror practice is self-speaking activity. As I told you, you are the protagonist and you will be doing the whole activity here. There is no one involved or pressurizing you to do any activity of sort. Now, you are going to pretty much talk to yourself. How is that going to happen? Mirror practice is a self practice activity, where you will be speaking aloud whilst you're standing right in front of the mirror. Okay, so talk about your daily routine, or you can talk about your goals or whatever you're interested in. The purpose here is not perfect grammar. All right, please keep that in mind. The purpose here is to increase the flow in your speech, but it's not quite relevant to start thinking that I have to articulate certain sentences perfectly in grammar. Do not go ahead, or don't go that way, or don't take that road. What I would personally tell you to do is firstly work on developing your speaking confidence, then improving your facial expressions in totality. All right, so what happens here, if you kind of look at these two steps, they are directly connected to one main bullet point, and that is it overall reduces hesitation. So that's what we are looking at, right? We really do not want to hesitate. We are When we are talking any language, really any language that we are trying to learn is important. So hesitation kills our confidence. So that is why mirror practice is something that I would truly advise you to at least implement 3 or 4 times a week. Okay, so important rule over here. All right, an important rule, I will just go into that section a bit later. However, let's look at the important rule for today. Important rule is do not stop for minor grammatical mistakes. That happens with many of us. All right, why? Because we are not native English speakers. We are not born with that tongue. Our mother tongues are different. We hail from different parts of the country. So basically, what are we looking at? We are looking at do not stop. We are looking at fluency. So, kindly do not stop for minor grammatical mistakes. Please continue speaking when you're doing this activity. So, what happens to this? There's one simple point I really need you to keep in mind is that confidence builds with repetition. Even if you are finding yourself, kind of committing certain grammatical mistakes, that's okay. Just go on speaking. All right. Now, as I told you, I just wanted, kind of touch this section after giving you the important rule. That is in regards with choose one topic and speak for 2 to 3 minutes only. Start with minimum time, and then when you feel that you've got the whole concept flowing, you can pretty much, increase your time frame. Now, the suggested topics for you are very simple. In fact, they can revolve around your daily routine or a recent experience, probably when you're on a vacation or any kind of circumstance, really. Or a very important thing to talk about, to anyone is your career, right? That also can be a topic of interest. All right. Choose any one of this topic and stand in front of the mirror and do the same, whatever I spoke about just now. So this is known as mirror practice. That is tip number one. Now, the second method is something that is truly kind of going viral nowadays. It's known as the shadow technique. So, what happens in shadow technique really? Shadow technique means listening to an English audio, all right, and then repeating the sentence immediately after you have paused it. Okay, I hope I'm coming through pretty clear. What you really need to do is, under this particular technique, is you have to just go on to any podcast or anything that you really like, or any language that you're trying to learn, not only English. What I would say is that, start playing that, and then you are pretty much going to shadow the speaker. It can be any favorite speaker. You can pick up, videos, or I'm sorry, the audios from BBC. All right, very good. CNN. TED Talks is my favorite because you have a variety of speakers on this particular platform. Pick up any audio and try to shadow them. Try to shadow them. Another important tip that I would want to share with you is that choose short clips. All right, choose short clips for the start, and from trusted platforms, of course. So, probably, as I told you, BBC, CNN, or your TED Talks. Now, what exactly happens once you do this? What happens if you are going to choose a shadowing method over the mirror method is it pretty much improves your pronunciation. Why? Because under the mirror technique, you are going to talk in your own pronunciation drill, or you're going to stick on to your own pronunciation. However, when you're looking at the shadow technique, what's happening? The difference is you are pretty much going to be copying someone, right? Immediately after they tell or they kind of articulate a sentence, you are just going to speak out the same sentence without any change in the tone or without any change in the pronunciation. That's a basic difference. Now, this is more important for you to understand that both of these techniques take time, so practice is what is mandatory. All right. So, what is the purpose, guys? Obviously, the purpose is it improves your pronunciation, correct? Firstly, because you're copying someone. All right. Next, the sentence rhythm also sets into your DNA. It feels like, okay, so I have to go ahead and, kind of replicate this person who's talking on screen. So I'm going to follow this particular sentence rhythm. So what happens? You develop a natural sentence rhythm. Along with, you reduce the mother tongue interference, which is very important, guys. This is very important, especially when you are learning English. Why? Because we, again, to tell you that we are not, native American speakers, or we are not fluent speakers. So basically what happens is our mother tongue kind of tries to interfere every time we kind of, curate a sentence or construct a sentence. So what exactly can you do? Practice. Practice these techniques. I'm hopeful, at least, that with time you will understand that there is a certain enhancement in the way you speak English. All right. So consistency is more important than duration. What do I mean by this is that, always keep in mind that once you're consistent, under any situation, you are going to succeed. All right. So stay consistent. That is more important than duration, guys. Now let's look at how exactly you implement this. That is shadow technique. Play one sentence. All right. Then pause there. That is the step two. Step three is repeat the sentence with the same tone and speed. Okay. I hope I'm coming through clear here, because these are the steps that you really need to follow when you're looking at the shadowing technique. And the last step is continue. At least you take 5 to 7 minutes daily and do this drill. Okay, that's very important. Again, it is directly related with consistency. An important rule I already spoke about, that consistency is something that we are looking at. Doing this on daily basis is something that we are looking at, kind of, uh, you know implementing at the end of the day. So do not get scared here also. Do not get overwhelmed if you are committing certain grammatical mistakes, or if you didn't catch any sentence. Repeat the whole process, repeat all these four steps, and you will be able to succeed. So the next tip that I truly want to share with you is something very close to me, because as a trainer, even I would have started at a certain point in my past, right? So at that point of time, this technique really helped me out, that is thinking in English. So what do you mean by thinking in English? You can just pause the video here. Please don't read any definition or of any sort of information on the screen. A small activity that I would really want you to do is pause the video, okay, and try to think when I tell you the topic that I'm going to talk about is this. I just hid the content so that you do not get a chance to read what exactly it is. Thinking in English. It's pretty simple. It's just that whatever you want to speak, just go ahead and articulate or construct that particular sentence in English and no other language. Okay, so that is what is the meaning or the definition of this particular topic. It is most learners translate from their mother tongue. That comes in naturally because we are built like that. However, what happens? This causes delay and certain sense of hesitation, guys. So instead what you can do is really train your brain to think in English. Okay, so what happens? You're forming thoughts directly in English without translating it from your native language. Very, very important point again, and truly helps me out every time I try to do this. So I just spoke about what exactly translation causes. It causes delayed responses, right? And it actually, it ends up giving you those broken sentences also. What do you mean by broken sentences? I think you've heard many people saying that, I use a lot of fillers, or sometimes what happens is that, I really cannot speak fluently, or people think that my sentences are broken. All this happens because of your translation, all right? It is at the back of our head. It is at the back of our head always. So start slow. Whatever you see or whatever you're looking around, in around you or in your environment, really just look at it in the form of articulating that particular bit of content in English. That's a beautiful, beautiful technique. I really hope you practice that as well. So again, just to kind of, give you a strategy throughout the day, what you're going to think about is consciously think in English. Now, this is very important, guys. When I say consciously think in English, it means you need to use your brain a little bit here. Okay? In the sense, you have to think in English. You should just stop. If you're feeling that there is something that you're not able to form in this particular, or you're not able to construct that part of your thought in English, you have to stop and preferably write it down. Okay, write it down on a piece of paper, and that will help you a million times more than you just speak directly. All right. So, for example, if you want to just say, what am I doing right now? Tell that to yourself in English. If you want to say that, I'm late. If you are kind of talking to someone, like it can be anyone from your family or your colleague, if you are kind of want to tell them that you're late, tell that in English. That is what thinking in English is, okay? And if you want to talk about something like really simple, like what will I eat today? Or what will I make today? Or what am I going to think about? Anything really. any circumstance. Just think about that particular situation in English, guys. That is what this topic is all about. This is a technique that I personally use so that, I do not fall short on connecting my language with the theoretical process of how we exactly use these techniques altogether. All right, great. Now, let's look at something even more interesting is recording yourself. Recording yourself, guys. Uh, I pretty much do this because right now I am recording myself. All right, there are many takes that I might have to kind of go ahead and do again and again because I feel that it gives me a chance to connect with my face as well, my facial expression, that also can be corrected with this particular technique. Again, something that is not very large, like it's not used mostly by people who start learning. It's okay once you start with these techniques. That is the first technique that I spoke about is mirror practice. Start with this, all right? Do this for a period of 1 or 2 weeks. Then you can jump to shadow method or shadowing method, wherein your pronunciation and your rhythm training is taken care of. Okay, as I told you here, you will be kind of looking at even playing around with your sentence rhythms along with your tone and your pronunciation. So you can do this particular activity for another week or so. All right, it depends on you. All right, and then you start using this technique, that is thinking in English, one of my favorites. All right, I told you what are the benefits of this as well. I just spoke about it. Okay, so now the fourth one is recording yourself to reinforce. It's not widely used, however you can do this not on daily basis, at least 3 or 4 times in a month. I don't think it's a great deal, right? You can give that time if you're truly looking at involving yourself and moving ahead or revamping yourself in this particular language. All right. So, recording yourself may feel uncomfortable. Let me just tell you that at the beginning. Okay. However, it is extremely beneficial and effective, guys. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay. So, why do you think it's beneficial? It's right on your screen. If you can just look at this, it identifies pronunciation errors. That's one of something that we really need to keep in mind when we are speaking in English. Now, it detects filler words. Okay, it detects filler words in the sense sometimes we use certain words in and we repeat it. All right, we kind of look at a repetitive pattern of a certain word. For example, like, so, and 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 also there are some words like all right, these are words like like. These words are known as words that pretty much repeat themselves are known as filler words. So you can detect these words also when you're recording yourself. So what happens here? In totality, you're improving your speech clarity. Why? Because you are kind of sitting and you're listening to yourself, or you're looking at yourself and you're identifying your pronunciation errors. Along with that, it also gives you a benefit of identifying your filler words. You can work on those as well. All right, and improves your speech clarity overall. Again, there's a mini practice method that we have got for you here. Is step one, select a topic. Any topic, really, it can be any topic, guys. It doesn't have to be any particular topic, and you don't really have to think about a topic. You can just randomly pick up anything. If I want to talk about a bottle, or if I really want to talk about this tube here, I would just want to talk about this. Okay, it is the Odomos mosquito cream. So I would just want to talk about this particular product for 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, it's as simple as that. What happens is under this recording yourself technique is that you get a chance to, get creative as well, because you're dealing with your facial expressions also. All right. So note areas of improvement is something that you need to do on your own. Correct. So after looking at the recording, after looking at where I'm falling short, you're just trying to go ahead and make a simple note that, okay, next time I record myself, probably I'll work on my facial expression. Next time, I record myself, I'm probably going to look at reducing the way or the speed of my speech. So these are the certain things that you can play around with under this method. that is recording yourself. Now, let's look at another truly useful or a resourceful method, that is vocabulary notebook technique. Again, something that is very close to me. All right. Why? Because it helps you to, I can say expand your word bank. Okay. What do I mean by word bank? Word bank is when you're looking at including words in your daily speech and using them in real time. All right. So stop memorizing long random phrases or sentences wherever you go because it overwhelms a person. Why? Because obviously you're looking at memorizing things. Memorizing is something wherein you memorize formulas or mathematical kind of solutions, right? However, this is a language, so it's pretty basic for us to understand as humans that we need to implement that in our daily course of action, or if you're speaking to someone, we need to use these words on daily basis as well. Okay, so what are you going to do? What are you going to do? There's a correct approach that you might want to keep in mind, that is write five useful words. Either use a dictionary, start with simple words, write their meanings. Okay, very, very important. Let me give you a smiley emoji here. I'm just going to try and do that. 1 second, just give me 1 second. Yes. I just love drawing on the screen. It looks so beautiful and colorful. Yes. So this, okay. So write the meaning of the word, guys. Just do not take the word, people. Just don't take the word and try to, kind of play around with the word that doesn't make sense. You really need to know the meaning of the word. So do that. And what? A next step is something truly, truly amazing. That is write an example. Write one example sentence. Create the sentence on your own. Do not go on Google and try to take out examples of these words, because now you know the word, right? And you know the meaning of the word as well. And now what are you going to do? The best thing that you can really do is articulate a sentence out of it. It might sound like a very small and a tiny step, but please understand that this is very important when you're looking at learning a language, especially English. Okay, so use the word in speaking practice. Again, something that we really need to keep in mind. Use the word, guys. What is the use of knowing the word, knowing the meaning, articulating a sentence with the word, and not using it? Does it make sense? No, right? So use the word. Now, just want to give you a quick important rule here that I just missed here. Note the areas of improvement again and do any of these activities or the strategies that I'm really talking about 3 to 4 times per week. Okay, 3 to 4 times per week is what we are talking about. You have to stay consistent. Okay, great. So the example words for this particular section or this approach, that is the vocabulary notebook technique, is the word is confident for today. So the sentence that I would really form is I feel confident when I prepare well, right? There is a direct relationship between what I'm using this word for. It has to make sense. You just cannot take a word and use it somewhere else where that it doesn't make sense, right? So that is the reason I'm telling you articulate your own sentences. So a situation can be a job interview. You can pretty much use this sentence as it is when you're looking at giving an interview, right? Am I right? Yes. So now we are kind of going to look at something very important here, that is a suggested 15-minute daily routine. Now, again, let me tell you, this is just a suggestion. I would advise also to go for at least one technique per week. That also works well because we kind of relate with the concept on a deeper level if it's repeated at least 3 to 4 times a week. But if you're looking at something wherein you're looking at increasing the fluency in a really short time, you can go about using this suggested 15-minute routine. And what is it? 3 minutes, go for mirror practice. 5 minutes, go for shadowing. Pick up any video, sorry, the audio, as I told you, from TED Talks, or, even from, it can also be from anything that you really like. Any podcast in English, all right? CNN, news profiles, anything really. You can choose anything that you really want, all right? Now, the next 3 minutes, you can start uh, thinking in English. Yeah, a very beautiful strategy again. I just love this. I just truly, truly love this, guys. I love this technique. Why? Because helps me it helps me a lot. Let me be frank, it really helps me a lot. I never use my mother tongue when I'm talking to people around me, not even for a second. I might use it here and there wherein I have to talk to young children because they do not particularly understand complicated English sentences. So at that point of time, I do use, the help of my mother tongue. However, I kind of stick to this particular rule, that is thinking in English. Now, record yourself, as I told you, not very widely used or not, but extremely effective. Extremely effective. And yes, I think that 2 minutes is pretty much enough for this technique. The next is 2 minutes for vocabulary review. Use the words that you learn, and they will help you in the long run. Okay, so let me kind of tell you one thing, guys. It's not once a week, it's not occasional. You need to do these, you need to practice these strategies at least daily, any one of the strategies. So, mirror practice, I'm just going to give you a quick recall about the whole content today. Mirror practice pretty much revolves around speaking for 2 or 3 minutes daily while you're looking at yourself in the mirror. Okay, and focus on the flow. As I told you, do not focus on any grammatical structure, right? That is something that you really need to keep in mind. Now, next is the shadow technique. I told you that here you need to listen and repeat from sources like BBC or TED. It's not limited to these platforms. You can use any platform really. Match your tone and speed and pronunciation to the person who's speaking on the screen. That is very important. Now, the third thing is think in English. Stop translating, please. That is, kill your mother tongue. That is your MTI. It also fades away. If you're having MTI, okay, that also fades away. MTI in the sense mother tongue influence. With this practice of thinking in English, you're going to kill that as well. So stop translating from now, right now. All right. Now, form simple thoughts directly in English throughout the day. That is the drill, right? I told you, look at where you're sitting. You can pretty much talk about anything and pick English as the source or as your source, really, to construct that particular piece of content. Now, record yourself, something that's again truly beneficial, and speak for 1 or 2 minutes, guys. Nothing more than that. Works wonders. Listen and identify mistakes, more important. Improve next time, even more important. Okay, don't repeat the same mistake that you have committed or you've done. As humans, we really need to look forward. Try to improve the next time you record yourself. The last is another important technique is vocabulary notebook. Write 5 words daily and use each word in your spoken sentence. Okay, so before I end the session for today, if you're learning with us on YouTube, guys, so this is a part of our fluency development tip series wherein we are looking at enhancing and improving in the way you speak English. So if you want guided practice and step by step confidence building, please get in touch with us in the link that is provided and it's given in the description. uh, Listen to this, guys. Start free, okay, but continue only when you feel ready. Thank you so much for tuning in and have a great day ahead.